Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So let's talk about success. Let's talk about business. How do we define success? Most people define success as making money. That's what they think the American dream is to be able to buy a big house, have a big fancy car, and to go from rags to riches. That monetary success is what success is. That's what it is. That's the point of business, is to make money. And when you make a lot of money, you can pat yourself on the back. I don't look at success in a monetary fashion. I look at success in regards to the types of relationships that I'm building with my customers. You know, customers is kind of a cold word. I look at the people that I do business with. These are relationships. I've made a lot of friends with customers, people that have come through my business. Now, I've owned many businesses. Let's talk about the motorcycle shop because I've owned that the longest, I think. But I've done a lot of businesses, and I never made millions of dollars with my motorcycle shop. My shop started small, we got a little bigger, and it never became an empire or a kingdom. I was never, like Jesse James or some of these other guys that made millions of dollars. At first, I wanted that. And I realized that I was in the game for the wrong reason. If you're in business to make money, you may never really get the type of success that you want. I suggest not focusing on the money. You want to be able to have good economics with your business. You don't want to spend more than you make. You want to be on top of your P's and Q's. You want to have a positive cash flow. You want to be able to pay your bills. You want to be able to pay your employees and to stack up a bank account, not only just for yourself, but for the business itself, so you can make moves and expand. I mean, to me, that goes without saying. That's business 101. You can go to the community college and learn that. But just because you're doing that doesn't mean you're successful. Have you ever been into a business where the owner's a jerk? Where you don't like the people that work there? And that business may survive for many years. There's a restaurant down the street that would be very convenient for me to go to, but the owners are jerks. They're not nice people. Now, they're not rude to me because I kind of command a certain amount of respect, and maybe I'm intimidating to some people, so they keep their mouth shut, and that's fine with me. But I've seen them be very rude to other people. They're not building return customers that love them. They're not building their customer base as family. They're not building those types of relationships. They're not becoming a part of people's lives. Now, there's a diner that I go to that's a few miles up the road, maybe 5 or 6 miles. Feels like it's more of a pain in the ass. I could go to the one over here. Instead, I drive up the road the other direction, even further, 2 or 3 times the distance to go to that one. Everybody there that works there will remember your name. You go there once, they'll remember your name. They'll look at your credit card, or they'll figure out your name, or they'll ask you. And they'll remember that. They'll remember what you ordered on that first time and remember it for as long as you've ever been there. Even if they don't know you, when you come in, they're welcoming. It's like you're going to your grandma's house. Their food is decent. It's not the best food in the world. The best food in the world isn't what brings people back to a restaurant every week, every day. There's people that go to that diner up there every day, and they have for the last 30 years. The owners work there, and the waitresses are family, and the people there, they've helped raise the community. They're a part of the community. If they go out of business, people will be heartbroken. People might rally together and try to help them. It's all about the relationships that you build, the impact that you have on other people's lives. I noticed this for the first time years ago with my motorcycle shop. I was developing some return customers, and that's always important with any kind of business. Your return customers are what's going to help you get through those hard times. I mean, just on a side note, we've had a lot of ups and downs with my motorcycle shop. Some of the downtimes have been miserable. I'm just wondering, geez, are we going to close up? I remember it was maybe 10 or 12 years ago, and we had a real hard downtime with the shop for various reasons. I had a little tiny handful of customers that were coming back every week. This one guy in particular was spending a lot of money. We built him a chopper, and then he wanted to keep putting money into the chopper, keep doing extra stuff to it. And he was a submarine commander in the Navy, and when he would get deployed, which could be for quite a long time, a month at a time, 2 months at a time, he would drop his chopper off, give me his credit card, and just say, do whatever you need to do, swipe the card. And I was just be like, wow, and I would never take advantage of this guy. Not in any way. I would give him the best deals, treat him right. And that's what kept him coming back. Even to this day, I'm still friends with that guy on social media, and we chatted up, and he thanks me for the bike that I built and talks about how on base he gets all kinds of comments because he rides it around on base. I was at a party one time. This was actually more recently, last year at the beginning of the pandemic. And it wasn't a biker party, but there's this small town that I live in. We got a lot of bikers here. There was a kid that I recognized. I call him a kid. He's probably 28. He was like, I want to show you the bike that I just got done customizing. And I was like, all right. And he brings me outside and shows me a bike that looked very similar to a bike that I own, a bike that I put into a bunch of magazines years ago, a bike that I kind of got known for. I've built many bikes, but this one got into a lot of magazines and it won a lot of shows. And he was like, when I saw you and your bike, it inspired the living shit out of me. Now, this guy was never a customer of mine. He was just a fan. He was like, I'll buy one of your t-shirts. How much do you sell them for? I said, I'll give you one. I had made such an impact on him that it's not that he wanted to be me. He wasn't looking up to me in that way. But he was so thrilled to see that what I was doing is something that he wanted to be a part of. You see, the bike that I had built was not an expensive $40,000, $50,000 chopper. This was just a cheap Kawasaki that I bought from a used bike shop. And I ripped it down to the bare frame and customized it back up as affordably as I could. That was the whole point for me, is I want to build this bike on a budget. I'm going to build this bike for nothing. And I'm going to enter it in a bunch of shows next to these guys with these $50,000, $60,000 chump choppers, and I'm going to take their trophy, and I did. The magazines kind of went nuts on it because it was a cool bike. And that's just, with any kind of art, you don't have to put a lot of money into it. It's just about the passion that you have into it. People recognized that on that one project of mine. I've had some failures, and that one was a success. And this bike that I built really inspired this kid, because not a lot of people were doing what I was doing at that time. He thanked me, wanted to get some stickers from me, some business cards so he can pass them out to his friends. He was really happy to meet me. He had seen me from afar at shows and events and stuff. And I was just like, wow, I had no idea that I was affecting people like this. And he told me straight out, his words, not mine, his words were, you inspire me. I was just like, wow, that's success. Talk about a different business really quick. I've done a lot of businesses. I used to promote heavy metal bands. I enjoyed it. I didn't do it to become rich. I just enjoyed it. We did that in Central Florida for a little while. There was kind of a wave, maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little longer ago, of heavy metal music coming out of Central Florida, between Tampa and Daytona Beach, along the I-4 corridor, Orlando, Daytona, and Tampa. The whole Central Coast area was just churning out heavy metal bands. And I was a part of that. And we were putting shows around all along the east coast of Central Florida. When that died out and kind of left the scene here, it moves around. Bands come and they go. Scenes come and they go. I had a lot of people that would come up to me and just want to chat, want to talk about music, want to thank me for some of the concerts that I put on, would tell me about how they had their birthday at the one concert that I did, or that other concert, up towards Jacksonville, that, and they would mention certain shows. Some of them I would remember, some of them I wouldn't. And they would talk about these shows as being very important parts of their lives and want to just thank me for being involved. And all I was just a guy who owned a motorcycle shop that liked heavy metal music and wanted to have something to do with music. So I was putting on shows. I was happy to have those types of compliments, and I realized that, success isn't always the money that you make. It's the impact that you have. It's how you inspire people. It's how you affect people. It's how you are remembered. I enjoy being able to look back on some of the various businesses that I've had and to know that I've been a part of people's lives. So you have to look at success in a slightly different way maybe than you've been looking at it. It's important to be able to understand what success is, because you might be chasing the wrong thing. Stop chasing money. That's a byproduct. That's just what comes along with providing an excellent service, being a part of people's lives in your community. You become really good at something and you get rewarded for it. So the money can be the reward, but for me, what lasts much longer than a dollar bill is a pat on the back, a handshake, and a good conversation with the customer, with making a new friend. I've made so many friends from that heavy metal scene, people that I still know on social media today, people that are buddies of mine. That's the type of success that I like to promote. So create relationships. Don't try to create money. The money will come. It's just worth thinking about. It's all food for thought. Thanks for watching.